Ma'am, step away from her. Keep your hands where we can see them. That's what my partner, Lila, heard that Tuesday morning as she bent over to tie her sneaker outside our place on Oak Ridge Drive. She wasn't doing anything, just getting ready for a jog, when she looked up and saw two uniformed officers, tense and alert, hands near their weapons like she was about to hold up a gas station. There she stood, calm as usual in her faded college hoodie, sidearm clipped legally at her waist. Lila's never hidden who she is. Retired military, off-duty sheriff's deputy, steady as they come. Then one of the officers mumbles into his radio, possible threat, female armed, complaint from Neighborhood Watch. That's when things shift. The second cop catches a glimpse of the ID badge hooked on Lila's hip, and their whole posture changes. Panic doesn't come from her. It hits them. Hard. Deputy Chief Monroe, one stammers. And they're across the street, standing smug with her Yorkshire Terrier, an iPhone like she's filming an episode of Neighborhood Justice, is Felicia Brandt, president of the Lakewood Community Committee, HOA tyrant and self-appointed enforcer of decorum. She had no idea she'd just accused the county's second highest-ranking law officer of being a threat to public safety. Felicia had been a problem for a while. Ever since she wrangled her way into the HOA chair, third time's the charm, thanks to spiked lemonade and conveniently misplaced ballots. She'd gone from garden club queen to suburban dictator. Noise violations? Fine. Unapproved lawn gnomes? Fine. Kids playing hopscotch? You guessed it, fine. But her new mission? Banning all visible firearms in the neighborhood, despite state law saying otherwise. She said it was about comfort. Lila's presence, her calm authority, made people uneasy, according to Felicia. What she really saw was a challenge to her power. 2 days before the cop incident, Felicia had marched right into our yard where Lila was sharpening gardening shears. "You'll be fined $500 per day for displaying that weapon," she declared, not even bothering to say hello. Lila, unfazed, looked up and said, "I'm off duty, and I'm well within my rights." Felicia sniffed. "Well, that might be okay for regular folks, but you should know better. You're supposed to be an example, not a gunslinger." Lila's reply? "I'm setting an example, one that respects the law, not your personal vendetta." Felicia stormed off, heels clicking like a judge's gavel. "I'll handle this," she snapped. That meant trouble. So when the cops showed up days later, summoned by Felicia's phony call, they were met not with a threat, but with a decorated officer and a badge. Lila, cool-headed, told them, "You're just doing your job, but now I have to do mine." Felicia, watching from across the street, went pale. "You filed a false report," Lila said, stepping closer. "That's a crime. You put officers at risk. You endanger neighbors, all because of a personal grudge." Felicia could barely speak. "You weren't in uniform. I didn't recognize you. That's exactly why you don't call unless you're sure. You don't dial 911 because you're uncomfortable. You do it because someone's in danger. There's a difference." That night, we heard the doorbell. 6 neighbors stood outside, arms full of banana bread, cookies, even root beer. "We saw it all," one whispered. "That woman's out of control. What do you need from us?" Lila, never one to crave attention, was quietly moved. But she kept her focus, because Felicia wasn't done. She sent out a newsletter, accused Lila of intimidation, painted herself the victim, claimed Lila was brandishing her weapon in a threatening way. It was all vague enough to avoid libel laws, but everyone knew who she meant. Lila didn't respond. She filed an official complaint with the city attorney instead, attached the call transcript, body cam footage, and copies of the HOA's so-called rules. The city council held a closed meeting. Lila laid out everything. The fake violations, the intimidation, even the anonymous flyers telling people not to associate with certain residents, all traced back to the HOA's mail system. "I thought HOA was about lawns and newsletters," one council member said, "not paranoia and power trips." Still, Felicia tried to hold her ground. She scheduled an emergency HOA vote to officially ban open carry in the neighborhood, citing her own 911 call as evidence. This time, the residents pushed back. Greg Talbot, quiet, gentle, former schoolteacher, stood up. "You lied to the police. About her. You put everyone in danger. Even Felicia's own vice president slid his chair away from her, whispered something in her ear. Her expression cracked. Desperate, she went to the media. But the journalist she called? His daughter had once been rescued by Lila during a house fire. The article that came out wasn't about Felicia's struggle. It was about HOA overreach and Lila's quiet bravery. Felicia spiraled. She sent out glossy new mailers casting herself as a shaken citizen narrowly escaping disaster. No names, but plenty of insinuation. At the next city safety meeting, press packed wall to wall, Lila presented the facts. No emotion, no theatrics. Just law. Then she played a snippet of a 911 call. The silence that followed was thunderous. She knew who I was, Lila said. She called anyway. That wasn't fear. That was control. An investigation launched. Felicia's house of cards began to collapse. The HOA VP, Daniel Wu, came forward. He'd been bullied for months. He handed over emails, fake fines, doctored policy memos. At the next board meeting, longtime resident Mrs. Gonzalez stood up and said, "I've seen Lila help more families than I can count. Felicia, all you do is send threats and collect checks." The vote was called. 28 to remove, 2 to keep, 1 abstained. Felicia stormed out. The next morning, the city announced a financial audit of all HOA activity. Over $75,000 unaccounted for, diverted to a private security firm with no license, no staff, no office. Likely a shell company. Felicia went unhinged. She took to social media, claimed persecution, filed a defamation suit against Lila, laughably weak. Lila's brother, a corporate attorney, shredded it in a response so thorough the judge tossed it in under a week. A new HOA board was installed. They launched a transparency portal, made every decision public, suspended every fine Felicia had ever issued, rewrote the bylaws from scratch. Felicia? She started slipping anonymous flyers under doors again, claimed Lila was part of a deep state cop cabal. Another 911 call came in from a scare neighbor. Officer on the scene recognized Lila instantly. "Sorry, boss," he said. "You're good." Lila logged it. Just another data point. The audit uncovered more. Doctored invoices, unauthorized purchases, even digital surveillance equipment purchased with HOA funds. One storage unit later, the city recovered a cache of HOA files, drone footage, resident dossiers, a spreadsheet titled Compliance Priorities. Felicia was arrested and charged with fraud, unlawful surveillance, and misuse of community funds. Her final act? A podcast rant claiming she was a whistleblower. The unedited audio, sent by the producer to the DA, only sealed her fate. Finally, peace returned. The HOA office was turned into a shared library and tool shed. The city passed oversight laws inspired by Lila's case. And on the anniversary of Felicia's removal, the neighborhood threw a quiet barbecue. No speeches, no drama, just burgers, laughter, and kids on skateboards. As we cleaned up, Lila leaned over and whispered, "You know the best part? We didn't just stop her. We rebuilt this place." She was right. Justice won, fear faded, and unity bloomed. One brave voice turned chaos into community, proving real strength always stands its ground.